Hello, my friends, and welcome back to the Blizzard Arena here in Burbank, California. My name is Kevin. We've got an incredible in-house audience here. You guys are amazing. It's been an amazing day, actually. I've had an incredible time. I hope you've had a great time, and I hope you guys who've shown up here on this Thursday have had a great time as well. We got one more match for you. We just got finished watching another 2-0 victory there by Miracle from Korea, the #3 seed, over BTG from China. BTG still in need of some points. We'll have to see if they can remedy that going into tomorrow's games. But now, we're gonna shift our perspective over to Group B. We're gonna watch a matchup here by TheOne, the 2nd seed out of China, against Leftovers, Europe's 3rd seed. Both of these teams looking to put some points on the board. Let's head over to Gillyweed and our anchor to see what's up next.
Well, Kevin, let's see if we can get you a 1-1 match. Wouldn't that be a great way to end the day?
Yeah, I do like the 1-1, the flagpoles, coming up. It's good.
TheOne making a 1-1 match would indeed be one heck of a story.
I mean, I am incredibly biased, but absolutely, as much as I love Leftovers, like truly, they are used to be an open division team, so I cast them for just under a year. TheOne, though, it's my region. I've got to support them at least a little bit. So a 1-1 would be good, and they've at least done it against Tempest already. It seems TheOne style translating over to an international stage a lot better than BTG's.
Yeah, since we have been focusing all day on Group A, let's look at the standings and see where both of these teams currently sit. The Leftovers lost their first match of the day. It was on our alternate stream versus Team Dignitas, but a welcome win for Team Dignitas because they had lost that match to Leftovers in the league play. I think there were a lot of questions coming in about the strength of both of these teams and how they worked against each other.
And Dignitas in general, whenever they come out to a tournament, day one is usually a little shaky for them. And when you're playing against a Mafio team like the Leftovers, you know they went in a little bit worried about that series. So to come out with a nice 2-0 and get 3 points, Dignitas has got to be feeling happy about that one.
But Leftovers, they're going to be looking at this already going down 0-2, 0 points. But the fact that TheOne took a 1-1 versus Tempest throws the league into throws this group into a bit of disarray because everyone else was looking at it as, okay, it's probably going to be Dignitas and Tempest making it out of this group.
Right.
The fact that Tempest are now currently behind both Dignitas and Heroes Hearth makes that 4-point position out of the group so much more important. So Leftovers, they really want a 2-0 here.
Yeah, TheOne put up a fight, but as we've been talking about, because it's such a big upset to even get a 1-1 result over Tempest, Tempest did feel like they played into not only what TheOne does well, but China does well.
Yeah, you got to make sure you stay away from those team fights, and you also got to make sure when they have an Illidan that they don't find a way to force those fights. And Tempest moved in with a Kerrigan composition trying to force against Arthas and Illidan, and China's like, okay, we'll take that fight, and they got to win. But now I assume that Tempest is becoming these series, making sure to be a little bit more laser-focused, preparing as needed for every single team they're facing off against.
And you've got to wonder whether a lot of that Tempest match as well, due to the fact they gave TheOne so many comfort picks, was due to a bit of lack of research. China coming into this tournament, a lot of people might have overlooked them. Question is, will Leftovers have done the same thing here? We're going to find out soon.
Well, let's not forget, Tempest were known as the team fighting Korean team, right? Besides Genji, of course. So it may have just been, we feel like we'll take those fights and we'll win them. Okay, maybe not. Maybe we backtrack and actually not play to our opponent's strengths. Checking in with today's schedule, there's just one best of 2 remaining for the day. It's been a phenomenal day to kick off opening week of BlizzCon, of the HGC Finals here. And there is TheOne versus Leftovers. We will finish out, or we'll start up tomorrow with Tempest taking on Mindfreak, so Tempest can start working their way and getting some of those points.
I think Mindfreak is such an interesting team here in the HGC. I mean, we got the Brightwing main tank off stream happening here. I want to see what they've been cooking up on the side, because you tell them to make cookies and they make brownies. It's really weird.
In game number 2 as well, bringing out a Sylvanas-style comp.
Yeah.
Also being very creative. Unfortunately, that has yet to equate to points, but for starters, when we talked to TheOne, their main target was to get revenge on Mindfreak for the mid-season brawl, where TheOne got 1 point that entire mid-season brawl, and Mindfreak was able to take them out 2-0. Now TheOne have already proved they can do it. Mindfreak are going to be like, okay, now pressure's on. We can't afford to lose to the team that we already have shown we can beat.
Trixler, I just have a question. Why not?
What's that?
Why not both cookies and brownies?
I mean, sometimes you got to be focused on your desserts. You can't mix and match. I mean, brownies, sure, you can go that way, but suddenly you throw a creme brulee in there, and things are looking a little awkward for dessert.
I think I can have my cake and eat my tiramisu too. Anyway, let's get into this last match. We're going to start by talking about the Leftovers, Europe's #3 seed, because you were talking about Team Dignitas ramping up, but that's sort of something that Leftovers are known to do too, and can they do that?
I mean, the first thing we were talking about the Western Clash is Mopsio teams. Western Clash 1 and Western Clash 2, both of them made it to second place in those matches. So Mopsio is someone that has been almost spotlighted, maybe a little bit too much on this team. DAB and Mopsio at first were the two people that you were talking about. But do not forget about the rest of their roster. They have been putting in work. Blakitny and Podibos are probably the two that are probably overshadowed the most. Podibos is one of our best top laners in Europe, not because he can win the lane, but because he knows how to be there for his team. When you are watching these matches, stare at the minimap and watch Podibos move. It is beautiful how he moves on a battleground.
Quite frankly, Blakitny, for me, has been the person who showed a lot of improvement in Part 2 and is a big reason why they were able to get wins off of Team Dignitas or even be able to make it through playoffs.
Completely agree. You look at this team and so much focus is put onto DAB because he plays the flashier heroes. But you can always rely on Blakitny to make these kind of, to be that just stalwart player. He's always going to perform. He might not be flashy, but he will get the job done.
He's a rock for this team. And we even saw at the Western Clash where DAB was asked to play Gray main and kind of faltered a little bit, and we had Blakitny pick that up.
All right, so here's a question I've been wanting to pose to you, Tetcher, all day. When we look at China, this is the first time we're not seeing teams like SPT, like CE represent. And last year and the years before, we had teams like eStar and Edward Gaming. So I think a lot of people look at China and Chinese teams and maybe underestimate them. And yeah, they're still growing, but do you feel like they're maybe further along in their evolution than people might at first glance give them credit?
I mean, the fact that we're seeing new teams here can definitely speak to that. The fact that we are seeing new blood means that we're seeing hungry players. When you're at the top of your region for so long but losing internationally, it can cause you to get a little bit complacent. We've seen it in the past from other regions. But in this case, TheOne, they've come in, they performed okay at MSB, like still not great on an international scale, but they showed that they are hungry to improve, and they have come here once again in convincing fashion, able to take down SPT and take BTG in the finals of China to a final game. The fact that they are here once again and they're looking solid definitely says a lot about the team and their growth, but once again, is it enough for the international stage yet?
I think what's really cool about them too, though, is they kind of have a perfect storm for maybe being able to take points, because Lies, who we saw listed last there, is Melody C from SPT, and he has so much experience in the region.
Yeah, he's played range in the past. He's played so many different types of warriors that he needs to play. He knows how to fit in if needed. So we should be seeing Lies fit perfectly in his composition. But I kind of want to go back to your point a little bit about the evolution of China. I can agree that we are seeing more from China, but what I'm missing out on and I'm dying for China to do is look outside their region. They get so caught up in this playstyle of we need to fight constantly, try to force aggression, and BTG, who I would argue has a lackluster macro game, is still the best in China when it comes to macro.
That's fair.
So if China can extend that, I can see that evolution next year going further.
Use this time where you're playing versus teams to learn, grow, take it back to your region. Well, this is a great opportunity to do just that, because they'll be playing versus a phenomenal team in the Leftovers, so let's get it going. We start with the Battleground pool. Bans on Team of the Spider Queen from TheOne, and then Leftovers taking out Dragonshire. I believe that is very consistent for Leftovers, and Leftovers, another consistency, picking Battlefield.
Gosh, they love their BOE, and if you give Momcio Diablo on this Battleground, just go ahead and call it a win, because they know how to force fights. I call Leftovers the rubber band team in Europe because they know how to take fights and stretch them to the limits, and eventually you're the one that gets snapped on as they force those fights. And BOE plays perfectly to who they are as a team.
Exactly, whereas TheOne, they are known to be a team fight team, but they also are able to get split pushing and sneaky moves a lot of the time on maps like Sky, which is their best map. This is not a map you can do this. You have to rely a lot more on fighting and a lot more on poke, which is not really their strength.
Yeah, and that's a concern for me just in general. When you come in as a not macro region and then try to play macro versus these teams, these regions that are similar to Mindfreak and Luna Meow, right? Luna Meow sticks to team fighting, and that's what they do in their region. Mindfreak was the macro team in their region, and then realizes that they're going to be behind in that aspect, and then has to come back and switch styles. So that's my biggest concern for TheOne, but I do feel like they have excellent potential.
We do look at Battlefield for the One, and it is one of their better maps win rate, but they play it so little. Because once again, in HGC China, we have a different format where they play 4 maps total against each team, where they ban out 2, play a best of 2, and then play a best of 2 with the previous maps not available, but they're still able to avoid Battlefield as much as possible.
We have an immediate pickup on Genji here for the One, but that leaves 2 primary pickups for the Leftovers that they have gone to over and over again, and that is Diablo and Deckard Cain. Those are the typical 1-2s they go for, and if they grab them here on BOE, you know they're sitting pretty.
The fact is, right now, both teams are just being given what they want. With Keshi not here, with Lies taking his place, the Hanzo doesn't gain as much priority here. We're going to see the Blaze prioritized over the Deckard here, but the fact is, the One getting Meng on that Genji is going to be a huge deal. So right now, this might just turn into a game of who is better on their best picks.
Well, Tyrande was still up, and who wouldn't want Tyrande on Battlefield of Eternity, right? Hunter's Mark can help you burn down an Immortal faster. You also have a lot of stun lock, and it's important to have that kind of thing so that you can try to get kills, especially around the Immortals. But remember, that leaves up Deckard Cain, so unless that gets banned here, then that's still up for Leftovers, and they were able to get that priority pick of Blaze out.
I mean, even if the One is to go for a ban on Deckard Cain, which I actually would recommend here, because you still have that Phoenix up and available. That's another one that DAB likes to move into. And when you have Diablo Blaze, Phoenix just compounds that so well, and suddenly you have more slows in from Deckard. It gets scary. But suddenly you go into a second pickup that you typically have from Link, and that's that White Mane coming in. So this is actually a pretty difficult ban for the One to decide on. Do they want to try and stop someone that can try and dive them? They actually go in and ban a Tracer.
It shows research has been done. Yeah, they let Mopsio get the Diablo, but it shows some respect for DAB's Tracer. It's a decent map. They've got great protection for it already with a solid double front line. I'm very happy with that from the One, but right now, Immortal race, very focused on that Tyrande already. With Reyna still available, we could still be seeing that come in for either team. Exterminator's great race potential.
You got
and if
Phoenix,
not, we got
Reyna, Greymane, all options that are available for the Leftovers, and ones have gone to the path. Cassia.
This is interesting. Cassia was actually a bit of a reliance for the One.
Yeah.
Their latter matches of the season. Keshi, he is not here.
I know.
So here's the question. Is the research based on team or on player from Leftovers, or do they just feel so confident in blinding that Tyrande and removing that healing potential?
We've had Cassia a few times here in BOE, but usually it's more of a reactionary pick. You see a Reyna on the opposing side. Maybe they're assuming the One, well, majority of Eastern teams actually go into Reyna a lot. They're just pre-setting up for it.
Well, what about, there was also the Illidan pick. That's how the One was able to get a win over Tempest. So perhaps it's sort of a dissuasion of being able to pick that up. But with that, we get Jaina and Leoric as the final 2 picks for the One. I believe that's the first Leoric we've had, at least on stream today.
I believe you are correct, and we get Hugo playing it, but Leftovers
we have fun
out the Lily coming in here, and we were looking at that Cassia. I think we just found out why. Double blinds coming in here, huge amount of damage output. Incredibly effective way to kill off the Tyrande.
Leftovers have spoke about it. They enjoy playing for the crowd, and if they think they have a victory already in the bag, they don't mind throwing in some untraditional picks. And
Are you talking about Cho'Gall?
Yeah, Cho'Gall, Gazlo, and we're getting a Lily here. Typically, if you see like an Ilda on the opposing team, Lily something makes sense, but this Lily is way out of left field for me.
How do you feel about the One's chances with the draft that they've gotten against all the blinds in the world, it seems?
There's a lot of blinds, but the auto-attack effectiveness is very limited to Tyrande and to Leoric, so it's not so bad there. It's mostly just for damage output and consistent harass, but that Lily, she can offer so much empowerment and actually a lot of just in general healing output. It makes the tank, the front line, and Mopsio in this case, incredibly independent with that Water Dragon.
You know
Cloud Serpent, sorry.
You know who I think is going to be just so excited to
Who's
see
that? J-Hal?
is Kaldor.
Oh.
Kaldor, Skippy, what do you think there?
Welcome, guys, and we are going to head into the game in just a second. But yeah, we have a Lilia actually being played here, and I've been talking to them a bit about it. But I didn't really think that we would get the double blinds in this game now.
No, we didn't think that at all. We saw the Cassia and we're thinking, okay, that's a little bit out there, it's a little bit different, has been changed for this patch. Then you think, okay, do they use those pocket picks early? You were thinking, I probably don't want to see it. They come out with the Lily, bit of fan service.
I want to have the Tracer. The Chinese team's doing the research
You and me were
here.
so devastated when that didn't come across. We were looking for the DRB just absolute pop-off potential.
I mean, usually as the tournament progresses, DAB's heroes get banned out continuously.
Yeah.
But you think at least at the beginning, he might get a chance to maybe once or twice play his hero. Not quite the case here, since the Chinese teams have definitely done their homework as we are heading into game number 1. And to the left side, we have China.
We do. It's the one with ZJ Jez on the Tyrande, Meng on Genji, Hugo on Leoric, Hehi on Garrosh, and Elias on Jaina.
And over to the right side of the map, the leftovers with DAB on Cassia in game number 1, Polyboss on Blaze, Linked playing, of course, the support here with Lily. We have Mopsio at the front line with Diablo and Blick Kidney, last but not least on Thrall Watchy.
So we're going to see the Echo Elements come out here at level 1. We're not going to see the Crash Lightning that we've seen earlier today for Thrall. Going to go for the more traditional setup here.
Already a little bit of a different start here on the side of China. I mean, we talked about this in the past. Consume Vitality was a huge and regular pick for Leoric, and then it started to shift a bit more towards Austin Renewal. And that was especially the case after we've seen the Eastern Clash, where the Koreans in particular really focus a lot on Austin's Renewal as a starting talent. China now, at least in the case of Hugo, going over to Consume Vitality again to also, of course, get that cooldown reduction. It can be hugely important here, but that self-sustain as well.
Now, notice some of the interesting interactions here on the minimap. You actually had Genji hanging in top lane, looking for that 1v1, or actually trying to make that a 2v1, but Lily is anchoring the middle lane, almost anticipating that shenanigans were going to go down, where they were going to try and backdoor that middle fountain and try and deny some of this potential when it comes to those immortal races.
I actually like that the one didn't go for that, but yeah, Leftover is definitely paying attention to that. Whenever you're facing off against the Genji on Battlefield, there's always that threat that Genji is going to make that move towards that mid lane, as you said, and then if you have one hanging back a little bit until Genji shows, you can react to that. The one could have actually played around this a little bit, just with vision and keep Genji hidden, and as long as Genji is staying away, Lily would have very likely been also more far towards the back to make sure that there is some protection towards those structures.
Yeah, at least for the first 30 seconds there, both were hung in a stalemate, waiting to try and make something happen. Hugo doesn't connect there with the Drain Hope as Polyboss asserts dominance on this point. He's hanging on. The team come from both sides, left and right they go. It is going to be the one that gained dominance in the end. The Lunar Flick comes across, but the jet propulsion just in the nick of time. But he gets the flick, gets the first blood, and Ming jumps in to secure the deal.
Good kill, but Mopsio moving in, trying to get the counter kill here against Genji, but the Meng still on the move. A triple Lunar Flag coming through from Tyrande, and here comes Hugo trying to get this slow against Mopsio. Successful. Garrosh follows it up, and that's the second kill for the one.
The one coming out here, guns blazing. They're actually going to recall right there, and Diaby's looking to try and deny them as much as they can. Hugo gets out the blinding light just a little bit too late. The gank squad from China living up to their reputation.
Now, the one thing that we still have to point out here is that during all of this, as Linked is in trouble and goes down on Lily, but as we have all these kills ticking in on the side of the one, you look at experience and it becomes pretty transparent that it comes at a cost.
Yeah.
And that's mainly because Thrall was throughout all of it still present at the bot lane and got those waves pushed in. So even with that 3-0 in kills, the one don't actually get a lead in experience.
Yeah, the timing of that one as well, the Immortal spawning in 20 seconds, so it's not at the most impactful time. It bought them some time, it bought them in the ability to assert some, I suppose, composure and some confidence in this series, in this game. We get to see a bit of a glimpse into what they were obviously presenting to Tempest off stream earlier today, but you want this to happen right here and right now.
I mean, they show the Chinese aggression that you really expect from them, but they commit to the 5-man, and that just is that one problem that we oftentimes have with macro. Trixler has been talking about this a bit since he's saying, yes, the Chinese teams, they are really great when it comes to team fighting, but on the macro avenue, they are oftentimes lacking. Great engage here by Mopsio. They kill against Genji, a perfect engage against the Assassin, and then the flip into the Immortal stun.
Yeah, the stun there overlapping perfectly, clip perfect, as they manage to take Genji down. A fantastic little pick right there. And they may just now, with the defensive positioning, allow them to push that Shaman camp out, get some towers, and really bolster this one-level lead they've already achieved so far, Cloudwell.
And in the meantime, we still have Thrall at the bot lane, so Leftovers have still holding on to that 4-1 split where they get the experience topside, they push in the camp, as you mentioned, but they still have Thrall at the bot lane. He pushed out the wave and is now already focusing in the Immortal here, trying to get a bit of a lead for them.
It's the age-old classic matchup between a Diablo and a Genji. The same can be said for the Tracer matchup as well. Whenever you're in a position where you're a little bit out of lane, collision like that slams on through the stun. The response from the one, is it going to be enough to get the lies out? He does indeed. Hey, doing whatever he can. I'm up to 41. He's going to run away, and Lies is going to fall on down.
First kill, and they're looking for the second. Here comes Polyboss with the slows, looking for the engage again. He's not the only one. Here comes the flip against Genji, but already Leoric falling the double kill as the Leftovers are turning up the heat. Mopsio falls, but he draws the aggro before that, and they get the counter kill against Genji.
It's a 3-for-1 right there. 73 souls there for Mopsio, so he's not going to be able to come up anytime soon. 10 seconds on that respawn. The halftime show comes across, and right now, Leftovers are in the lead. As we slow the tempo down, we switch across. It's in a position now where you have to be aggressive, and right now TheOne are definitely bringing it to them.
Yeah, what I really like is that Leftovers just sitting there is like, you want to brawl? We're here to brawl.
Yeah.
We got you. We are absolutely happy to fight you. But they also still don't neglect the macro game.
Absolutely.
It leads to them having experience lead and being far ahead in the Immortal race. TheOne is catching up on that a bit, but now we have that fight exploding just in front of us once again as 3 of TheOne are focusing on the Immortal. The rest is trying to slow the Leftovers down here. Hugo is once again nearly about to fall, but the Chinese team might even be able to win this one. But they barely lose out as the Leftovers clutch objective number 1.
You can see the idea there from Hugo to try and slow them down by going for that 4v5 and jumping into the back line. 700 health. You can't help but wonder if he was on that Immortal doing the race and trying to make it a clean 5v5, potentially with the Hunter's Mark, that would have been the killing edge that they needed.
And with all the fighting that has been going on, the stacking process on the side of DAB's Cassia is of course already sped fast forward here. We are seeing 25 stacks on the Thunderstroke as the level 1 talent, really helping out here. Lily in the meantime going full into the Serpent with Wind Serpent on level 1, on 4 specking with the Sidekick, and then the Lightning Serpent on level 7. So at this point, very one-dimensional with that build going full into that spec. Some Immortal pressure through the top lane, already leading to an entire level lead for the Leftovers with 4 kills on each side.
Would have been a very beautiful situation had they gone for that fight right there, because Leftovers did hit level 7. Now it's an even situation. Hugo very low. The full combination comes out there from Blakitny, but the top lane shenanigans still continue on as they chuck him out of harm's way. But ZJZ is on his own, and DAB is just going to run him on down, blind after blind. He gets away, but the fight continues. Lily drops. Jaina is the response. It's a 2-for-1.
Yeah.
And it's the one that are winning it.
Blaze already down. Meng is trying to get away. DAB already with the follow-up, but they're focusing on Mopsio as well. He gets nearly stunned out there, still fighting against 2. Gets locked on by TheOne.
Meng.
And once again, we're having Head trying to flip him over here as Genji barely survives, at least for now. But Mopsio, he's falling. That's another kill as TheOne is going for it.
No, he's just literally got into the fog. The root doesn't connect. He's going to get him right now. He dashes his way. What is he doing? He's going to get a staggered death right there. And Blakitny's beast being thinking, what was that? Oh, it was chaos across the map from left to right. It went all over the show.
But when all is said and done, we still look at the Leftovers having a half-level lead over their opponent.
Yeah.
TheOne is getting the kills, and Leftovers is happy to take these fights. Not quite getting the trades that they're hoping for, but they are still ahead in the game.
And this is an interesting narrative that we've talked about when we've had these aggressive teams. We've seen it today, the likes of Gen G. We know they're fantastic as a team fighting team, but they played the macro, and they played it completely, especially in a map like this. Leftovers like, we'll play the macro, but we're also not going to just completely rely on a keep to try and win this game. We want to fight, but also push lanes.
I think Leftovers also misjudged TheOne a bit. Once they started chasing with Cassia towards Tyrande at the top, I feel they didn't realize that TheOne would re-engage into the battle. And then all of a sudden, DAB was really split from the rest of the team. If they can rely on the Lily and Cassia double blind, I feel they have a much better chance in these big team fights, and that's what they're going to hope for here. They already have heroic abilities, and that gives them the edge as TheOne is trying to slow down the Immortal progress.
Well, Garrosh at the moment is in the top lane soaking, arguably the worst one to try and soak that, as he has no ability to protect this team as this Immortal phase, at least the first half of it, takes full effect. The Leftovers actually biting off a fair chunk of poke damage. So it's working out in their favor so far, despite the Leftovers having the advantage, having that 4v5 situation and the half-level lead. TheOne managed to buy himself a fair bit of time.
Yeah, now they have level 10. And with that, they have especially the taunt on Garrosh, and that is just so huge. If they can get a good engage here, they can just create these kills, and they're going to look for them, but already an engage happening. At the same time, the jet propulsion against Jaina, and she goes down.
And the lightning breath as well. That's just going to do so much damage. The jugs from downtown, keeping everybody top down up, and you're just unlucky not to pick up any more kills there if you are Leftovers. They found Jaina, they collapsed CC after CC, they went for the shadow charge into the wall. The collision was fantastic, but quite honestly, if anything, they're going to be very satisfied with the reward of just another objective here.
And TheOne isn't really done yet. Leftovers split one off. They're thralling the side for the objective, but the rest of the fight is still continuing as Cassia completes the quest. The taunt comes through. They're going for it with the defensive position. They're trying to get a kill, but the bunker's out.
The Dragon Blade on the bunk and all those jet propulsions coming across the flames, collapsing onto Meng, and he gets stunned, he gets flipped, he gets taken on out. It is a 2-for-2 right now on that scoreboard. The Immortal race, once again, is close as can be. We might just see a complete race for this one. Hugo in that rage form is going to be able to do too much, but it's going to be this time TheOne picking up the Immortal, bang even in levels, banging even in kills, 10 minutes into this game.
A full bloodbath that we have in this game here. Kill after kill coming in, 9 on each side for now. Genji also with a Dragon Blade, and of course with the bunker. Everyone moving in, everybody is so low already as Blaze just barely pulls the safety pin here, and then the Dragon Blade comes out and just swipes through. That could have been even worse. More resets after the Swift strikes, and Genji might have had a chance to really just escape and then re-engage once again, but they end with an even trade. The Immortal, on the other hand, goes over to TheOne, and they are eager to close that experience gap that the Leftovers
they are. Notice the positioning of Hey right there. This is going to be the Warlord challenge straight into the Lunar Flare. Can the Jugs keep these members alive? Blakitney is holding on for as long as he can, but the Lightning Breath is going to take him down.
Tyrande already down, and they're looking for a second one, but Blakitney falls next. It's a 1-for-1 trade. The fort is down. DAB is low, but so is Hey.
That he is indeed running away. Meng also on the bottom of your screen. Both are so low, but Leftovers realize, look, it's a 4v4. This is a situation which we do not want to be a part of. And that's a really weird thing to say when we know this is a team that like to force 3v4s, 4v5s, whatever it might be. They're the ones actually playing passive for once.
It's such a brawl. Like, they're just going at each other's throat. Leftovers from the get-go says, you don't like macro? That's cool with us. We're going to go for the team fight. That's fine, boys. Let's go.
We want to have some fun. We want to play some macro. We think we can beat you. We want this to be a 2-0, but let's actually have a bit of fun at the same time. And no other pick in this game would say it than Lily.
I mean, you have to look at the level 10s on the side of TheOne, especially with the Dragon Blade coming in, but mostly around the Jaina or the Jaina Garrosh combination with a taunt into the burst damage, and also adding on top of that Tyrande, the Hunter's Mark with the extra damage and the stun on top of it too. It's just so easy for them with a good engage to move in and get that kill, especially if they get on top of Cassia, if they got on top of Thrall, for example. And then you have Hehe, who the entire time, even in a situation where they are down a member, just says, guys, I still can look for an opportunity here. If I find a good taunt, we can still blow someone up, and it's a 4 versus 4.
And the flank was beautiful. The ability for him just to walk around. You said they wanted to be aggressive with that Immortal, and aggressive they were. They found the kills, they found the aggression. But quite honestly, as much as this is a brawl, it's always blowing my mind that not many more members are dying.
Yeah. Definitely, there's a lot of safety tools that the teams are having, and so far Lily with the blinds, but also the Jugs has really helped out a lot of the members in this team. Now we have level 13, and we're heading into 16 slowly but steadily, and this is really where I feel DAB with this Cassia is going to get even more damage out. He already has Thunder God's Vigor now, so we're talking about the cooldown reduction, and that is going to help him a lot. At this point already, he's sitting at 25,000 damage in this game, taking the #1 spot. And I feel this is just going to increase heavily, especially once the 16 talent also comes into play.
Oh, absolutely. That's the biggest power spike for a Cassia build just like this, and it's going to really allowed him to go toe-to-toe when it comes to the likes of what you can see from Jaina doing.
Yeah, especially with how the fights are going, right? It's always these big 5 versus 5. If you have a Pearson there and you get the cooldown reduction, it's perfect.
Oh, the double stun right there from both bruisers. That's going to be the light to try and drag them all on out. Lightning Breath to start things off with a very early bunker to try and buy them some protection, but I don't know if that was necessary. They jump in, they jump out. 25 armor for the boys. The Blizzard's going to come on down. The Jugs are doing whatever they can. Hugo is low. He's going to go for the march and survive.
Blaze has to be so careful, but Leoric goes down regardless. Here comes another stun attempt by Tyrande. Not really following up on that, but this is Leftovers moving in again. It's only Leoric that has fallen. You always want to trade him first. He's going to be back soon, but that's the time that Leftovers used to go for the halftime show.
And fantastic once again. We talk about macro. The split between both of this, you could almost say 60% into team fight, 40% into macro. The Shaman camps working well towards that top keep and exposing both those towers, looking for that first win condition.
Pre-tapping already, Leftovers. They know the fight is coming. The one already positioning here. They know that they have to win this now. Fort or keep is potentially on the line as they are looking for the engage again.
Oh, the beautiful shadow charge right there, straight on towards Genji. Reflect had to be used. He's going to try and buy himself some time. Very, very vulnerable right now. The taunt onto free, and the Dragon Blade could be right huge right here. Thrall falls on down. Will Potty Boss be the second casualty? Yes, he will be. They flip in lies, and now everybody's slowed on down, and Meng will look to try and slow people up. He might try and get this kill, but the Water Elemental is not going to be enough.
Hey today really with the calves of steel here, putting on the backpack and carrying the team, creating one opportunity after another. First the taunt, then the throw of Blaze into the stun circle, and that is the perfect opening for Genji with the Dragon Blade just slicing, dicing through the teeth, getting 2 kills, and now they're going again for the Immortal here. Leftovers all of a sudden starting to fall slightly behind. Experience, dead even, and this Immortal could hurt.
It really could. It's going to go to the top lane as well.
It was after a pre-tap. Leftovers went into that fight, just tapping off the fountain. A lot of them actually being very high health, and the one had to fight there. And they find the engage, they find the kills, and now they have an opportunity.
And look what, I mean, it looks so disastrous right there. Mopsio exposing the Genji in a situation where he had to burn his, his cooldowns quite quickly. But then once again, he with these massive taunts from downtown, catching onto 3 members, and the burst is always there.
TheOne is not here just yet, but they're still willing to fight.
Ooh.
Already Earthquake is down, the kill against Genji. The 5 versus 4 Leftovers favor, and they're looking for the second kill, and they find it.
That they do indeed. Earthquake is just enough to bite them that time, overlapping that with the massive lightning breath, and that's going to be the Immortal, which you said could impact them so heavily. But they say, look, if we just force a fight right now, it does nothing.
TheOne was just not with them in that situation. They were hoping for the early 16 and then trying to go in, but the rotation was too slow. And then the Leftovers, they identify it, they drop the Earthquake, and they go in, create the first kill opportunity, secure the kill, and then it's just a great play from them, carrying that fight through, finding the kill against Leoric too, and all of a sudden we're just dead even in this game again.
I mean, if we talk about mobility, the reason they can expose a lot of those members is because they have none. You're talking Janie, you're talking Garrosh, you're talking Leoric. Yes, you can try and Wraith walk away, but it's not always the best situation. He's been using that March of the Black King to try and survive through a lot of these hard burst engages. But, Janet does have that Ice Block online right now, so if she can try and use it at the right time to dodge out these big Valkyries, this could be a big turning point in these fights so far.
DAB and Meng on Genji, they are having a huge battle when it comes to the top damage in the game. 36,000 on Genji, 37k on Cassia right now. But when it comes to the death department, Genji having a tough time there, oftentimes running into the team where so many stuns and CCs are just waiting for him. 5 deaths already on Meng.
Nice little play there by TheOne. They actually go for the bottom lane to try and take out some keep structures. They get a beautiful owl onto the top mercenary camp as well, so they can scout out, they can reliably disengage, they know where the enemy is. And now, much like his tradition here when the Immortals spawn, both teams are going to peel away to pick up those Shaman camps. And bear in mind, these are actually going to find a lot of value right now because bot lane is exposed and top lane is exposed. So if this fight around this next objective takes a long time, that Shaman camp will get a keep on its own.
Blessing of Yulan, by the way, taken now on 16 for Lili. So the Cloud Surf now also with a percentage health heals on the talent. And that's huge for Diablo in particular.
Yeah.
The Leftovers are a team that are absolutely willing to sacrifice Mopsio on the front line if he can draw the attention and if he can draw also the cooldown so that they can go for a counter kill. So if he is in a position where he's even more tanky thanks to Lili's Serpent, that's a fantastic position for him to be in, where he can even be more aggressive. Here comes the flank attempt. Is Blakitny going for the Earthquake? So far they haven't really found an opening, especially since Podibos couldn't find the perfect angle for the jet propulsion.
Yeah, he was looking to try and slow somebody down with the oil spill. The Valkyrie burned very early on right there. They're going to shard right on in with Mopsio going in. They jump into that bunker very early on as well. 2 massive heroics, actually 3 heroics all being burnt, and also the Earthquake on top of that. If you compare that to what the side of TheOne have used, you still got the March, you still got Dragonblade, and you still got the Warlord Challenge. Right now, TheOne are looking really good for this defense.
Yeah, TheOne can capitalize on that, but there's still a camp at the top lane that they have to deal with, and that's where not only Jaina, but also Leoric was already headed. Leftovers using that small time frame to go straight for the Immortal and burn it down to nearly half health. They want to win at least the halftime show. Time is working in their favor now as they want to make sure that those cooldowns are back up again, but TheOne is looking for the engage.
They are indeed. Top lane keeper still taking damage, but the Warlord Challenge is absolutely massive. Followed up there by the Blizzard, as well as the March, and none just like that. 1 member falls on down, a second is going to fall in full pursuit right there. Lies. He's really telling lies with that helper because he was so close to death, but the Ice Block comes in absolutely clutch. All the members of TheOne flirting with the idea of death, but they just still go.
He's down, everybody is so low, but that doesn't do anything for the Leftovers if they cannot find the kill, and they didn't. It's TheOne who walks away with 3 on the floor. Well played here by the Chinese team, and they now focus their attention onto the Immortal. They take it here, and it was such a beautiful engage. And there one more, they go for Diablo. Mopsio overstepping maybe a little bit, trying to see if with Blakitny, maybe they can make a play here, but he needs to be careful because all of a sudden all the attention is on him, and he goes down, sacrifices the souls as TheOne is simply taking him apart and secure the objective at the same time.
Massive performance right here from TheOne, picking up the last, I believe, 3 consecutive Immortals here.
It's actually really getting dangerous at this point. I mean, the engages that we're seeing from TheOne were beautiful. Leftovers, walking away. And then you see Garrosh moving in the immediate Warlord's challenge. The taunt is there. The follow-up from Tyrande, and then it's again Genji and Jaina who capitalize on it so quickly, and they burn the AAB down within half a second. And once the damage is gone, how do you play this? Now Leftovers have to defend, and it could cost them a keep. It could cost more because 20 is there for the one.
No, it absolutely will. 20 is unlocked. We know what the combo is to look forward to. It's all about where Hey can go for this positioning right now. The Water Elemental's being burnt on very early. They're going to go straight in the one stun, one chance, one kill. Thrala's dead. 20 to 18 being fully executed right now. Link using those jugs to try and keep the members alive. Bunker is used as well. Provide some pills, some protection, some chance to try and defend this keep. This core is the next objective, and they're going for it.
They go for the AP, and they get him. Down he goes, and the one is about to take game number 1 in the series here. The Lightning Breath comes through, but it's already too late. Blaze is down. The core is falling. The shields are gone. 3 on the floor, but only Genji falls. Leftovers trying to hang on, but it is too late.
It's too little, too late right there. Leftovers start a fantastic way. Macro, everything was working for them, but the ones say, hey, if you're going to give us this opportunity to team fight over the course of this game, we will show you how it's done. We will show you why people value us, and we will not miss that opportunity.
And China moves in and says, yes, that game against Tempest, that wasn't a fluke. No, that's us. We are here. We're here to fight. We're here to win. And for Leftovers, this is a massive blow. They looked at this, they said, guys, we just lost to Dignitas. We were hoping to at least get a map here. But at the same time, one of the Korean teams dropped the map too. This is our opportunity to at least put us in a great position for this group. And now they lose game number 1. That's 3 maps in a row today now that the Leftovers have dropped. This is not the start they envisioned.
Well, does this not add a spicy mix to the narrative here in this group? But we're going to chuck it back to the caster's desk, or the analyst desk, if you will, and see what they thought about game number 1.
With a second game win over a team that no one in their right mind would have envisioned, the One have proven that China is here to play. You cannot underestimate them because they will take you down. Tempest, and now Leftovers. They are here to play.
And it's freaking fun to watch, too.
It's
That's
awesome.
for sure. I mean, looking at ZJZ in particular, he was landing lunar flares without having setup. That allowed Garrosh to step up and drop down those taunts and dismantle the Leftovers. That was pretty darn enjoyable to watch.
Like you said, that was one of the most entertaining and certainly high kill count games we've had this entire tournament. What minute mark was it where it was like 10 to 10 in kills?
They were level 13.
Level 13, 10 to 10 in kills.
Oh yeah, it was a bloodbath.
It was an absolute bloodbath, and some of the engages as well was so interesting and exciting to see. And I actually have a replay to show that, but not only that, but to talk up Leftovers a bit. Here I'm going to play this for, before we even start playing forward, we're going to point out, Leftovers, they should be aware that Garrosh is hiding down in the bot lane. This is where he gets this incredible flank turnaround. We're going to run this forward in slow motion a bit here. As they creep forward, Garrosh is very patient with his turnaround, but look at Linked. He knows this engage is coming and immediately is in position. The second Herher has moved in, he moves even further back, avoiding the Groundbreaker. And this is what allowed Leftovers to trade pretty effectively on the fight, because Linked was able to get all this healing, even with this incredible engage. But of course, I'm going to run it back a little bit here just to show it off. Actually, no, it hasn't happened yet, so I'm going to run it forward. We see Lies. He is the main target. If Leftovers can blow him up, they're going to get more than just one kill. They're going to get a decent trade. But Lies, he easily sidesteps the Valkyrie. He's in position, he's dropping damage, but he's also playing safe. He's not over-committing like we have seen from some teams in the past.
And granted, it was a win over a composition that, quite frankly, we don't see lately very much, you know, so you could make the argument that Leftovers felt very confident here that they could win, and they were trying to have fun because mentality to Leftovers is very important.
Yeah, this was not a typical composition for them.
Right.
They were attempting to have some fun here. They just did not have the race that was available, and I guess they did not expect the heat that would be brought by the Chinese team. And, you know, you get punished for it. You know, you reap what you sow.
But there is something to be said about the mentality that happens after the fact of that, right? You choose to draft that because you choose to believe that it should be a pretty on paper, by the books win for you, and then it doesn't happen. I think, you know, conversely, if the one would have lost to that, it would have been very disheartening because they lose to Lili, but now where's the mindset for Leftovers?
Exactly, and you've got to look at that and say that in fact, for one of the first times, we're going to talk up and say that is very much potentially down to the sub. Keshi is very reliant on those auto-attack style heroes. He can play Jaina, but You guys have seen Melody C play for years at a time. If you give him any hero, he will play it effectively. That draft that Leftovers brought might have been more effective against the one
Right.
normally. Yes, like I said, Keshi can play Jaina, but now you're in the mindset of we brought something that could have worked, but the one just showed off their flexibility and showed that they are strong enough to be able to play around that.
Well, Gilly, back to your question about the mindset here for the Leftovers. It's one of the things that Mopsio brings to a team that is so hard to be replicated in other teams. The mindset is here to have fun and to enjoy themselves. And I imagine he's talking to the team right now, and they are perfectly fine. Going into game number 2, though, I expect them to play Leftover picks, because that was a different game for them. And I can understand the mentality, hey, this is a team that we should be able to beat. But going into game number 2, this better be win for them. Or going into tomorrow, that's when you can have some issues when it comes to mental state.
Yeah, that's problematic if they can't get this win here and keep the one from being able to keep those points going. We're going to check in with a quick word from our sponsors when we come back, game 2.